I'm coming back. Happy New
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So, yeah.
He did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
Because I know that for him, that's hurtful. I would get a pit in my stomach doing interviews because I'm just like, I can't it's like being like traumatized, kind of like you're too scared to like speak or open yourself up or say the.
For a long time, rumors have circulated about what Justin Bieber experienced away from the spotlight. Stories of chaotic gatherings, powerful adults always nearby, and industry figures who blurred professional boundaries have followed him for years. Many fans sense that certain relationships went beyond ordinary mentorship, including his puzzling association with well-known figures in the music world. To some observers, it never felt like a simple story of guidance or friendship, but rather a situation shaped by pressure and control. Throughout it all, Hailey has publicly remained steady and supportive, standing by Justin during difficult moments, public struggles, treatment periods, and relentless media attention. Privately, however, she has carried concerns she chose not to voice. As more accounts surface and scrutiny increases, she appears less willing to stay silent. What she knows, and what she may finally be ready to share, could change how people understand everything that happened behind the scenes. What she is beginning to share goes far beyond tabloid speculation. It suggests a troubling pattern in which Justin may have been pressured, influenced, and strategically placed by powerful figures in the industry. This story is no longer about rumors of exclusive gatherings or unclear claims. It points toward a system where control and influence mattered more than protection. Hailey appears to be alluding to specific names and relationships that have long surrounded Justin without clear explanation. Well-known executives, athletes, and insiders who consistently appeared in his circle. Her focus no longer seems to be limited to shielding her husband from public scrutiny, but rather to shedding light on what he was subjected to. According to accounts that are now slowly emerging, Justin was repeatedly placed in environments that were inappropriate for someone so young, surrounded by older and more powerful individuals whose intentions did not align with mentorship or care. At the center of these connections was someone who helped arrange those introductions and maintain those dynamics. Someone who allegedly treated Justin less like an artist and more like a means to preserve influence and status.
I'd be alive for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully learn.
Hailey is choosing to speak now because she understands the cost of staying silent. She has watched her husband carry the burden of experiences that were never his responsibility, and she is no longer willing to let that weight remain unnamed. This moment is no longer only about standing beside Justin. It is about calling attention to an industry that failed to protect him. For anyone who believed the story ended with lawsuits and quiet resolutions, that assumption may be premature. What is unfolding now suggests that deeper issues are still coming to light, and Hailey seems determined to ensure they are acknowledged rather than ignored. When Justin Bieber was still a young teenager with big aspirations and a simple online platform, his life changed at an incredible pace. Recognition came quickly, but it also brought pressures few could prepare for. One of the most pivotal moments in his early career occurred when Usher, who played a major role in his discovery, introduced him to Sean Combs, widely known as Diddy. What was expected to be a supportive professional connection soon became part of a much more complicated and concerning chapter in Justin's journey. Something far more complex and concerning was taking shape. From the outside, it appeared to be a powerful partnership, a talented young artist being supported by established figures in the music industry. But what was less visible was how quickly and deeply one individual became involved in Justin's personal world. The connection moved beyond professional matters and creative collaboration, taking on a level of influence that many now view as excessive and controlling. Footage from those early years still exists and has resurfaced multiple times, drawing renewed attention. In one widely circulated clip, Diddy talks about spending an extended period of time with a very young Justin, presenting himself as someone who could open every door imaginable. He speaks in grand promises about success, luxury, and status, framing achievement as a lifestyle rather than focusing on growth or guidance. Justin's reaction in the video is telling. He appears uncomfortable and uncertain, visibly young and still developing, yet already being ushered into an environment shaped by adult expectations, power dynamics, and pressure. What should have been a protected stage of learning instead seems to reflect how quickly his childhood was overtaken by an industry that demanded more than it should have.
So, it's a little dusty, you know. First shot of this.
Man.
Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come out like you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15, you could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
Alright, 16.
No,
16.
Slow down. Let's slow down, Justin.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion. Yeah. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang out with some girls.
Man after my heart.
This was not a simple or harmless moment of connection. It functioned more like an introduction to a powerful world, a demonstration of what success and access could bring. Rather than offering straightforward guidance, Diddy appeared to be presenting a vision of influence and authority that came with unspoken expectations. Beneath the surface of private travel and exclusive spaces, there was an atmosphere that many now view as deeply troubling. One focused more on control than care. Hailey Bieber has come to understand this over time. She has seen old footage, heard accounts from the past, and most importantly, lived alongside the version of Justin shaped by those experiences. When she entered his life, she did not encounter a carefree star. She met someone carrying the weight of unresolved pain, shaped by years that few outsiders truly understood. To the public, their relationship appeared to be a hopeful new chapter. Privately, Hailey was slowly assembling a difficult picture. There were emotional struggles, unexplained distress, sudden shifts in mood, and a recurring presence of influential figures from Justin's early career reappearing in unexpected ways. Familiar names from the industry and beyond continued to surface, often tied to the same exclusive circles and environments. Over time, the pattern became harder to ignore, and Hailey began to recognize that what Justin had lived through was not isolated or accidental, but part of a larger system that had left lasting effects. These individuals were not simply casual friends or professional supporters. They were part of a tight circle that had early and ongoing access to Justin, operating within a system that positioned Diddy as a central gatekeeper. Through that role, Justin was allegedly exposed to situations and environments that were inappropriate for someone so young. Usher, whether intentionally or not, placed his trust in Diddy, believing he would help guide Justin's career. Instead, control over Justin's path gradually shifted away. Diddy brought him into a world that extended far beyond music contracts or creative development. A world defined by late nights, secrecy, unspoken expectations, pressure, and influence. Hailey has begun addressing this period of Justin's life with greater resolve. Her words remain measured, but their meaning is clear. She has hinted at the emotional weight Justin carried and the lasting impact those early years had on him. She understands that he was placed in rooms dominated by powerful adults who viewed his youth not as something to protect, but as something to leverage. The promises of luxury and success, she believes, were not innocent incentives but tools of influence. Privately, Hailey witnessed the consequences unfold. The emotional crashes, the withdrawal from public life, and moments Justin struggled to put into words. Over time, it became clear to her that some of his deepest struggles traced back to that formative relationship with Diddy, one that felt troubling even then and appears more concerning as new information emerges. Justin Bieber was not adequately safeguarded. He was moved through circles where access equaled authority and authority became leverage. And Diddy, rather than serving as a positive guide, is now alleged to have been a key figure in maintaining those dynamics.
For me, being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
Hailey is no longer speaking solely to defend her husband. Gradually, she is drawing attention to the network of people who played a role in what he experienced. She is reminding the public that behind the global pop star was a very young person placed in the care of powerful adults who failed to protect him. The old video of Diddy making extravagant promises to Justin is no longer viewed as an awkward moment from the past. Instead, it has taken on new significance as part of a larger pattern, one that becomes clearer in light of what Hailey is beginning to acknowledge. Seen this way, the clip reflects how early success was framed as access to excess rather than guidance or stability. And what is being discussed now appears to be only the start of a much broader conversation. From the outset, Justin Bieber's rise seemed like a modern fairy tale. One moment he was a kid uploading cover songs online. Almost overnight, he became one of the most recognizable artists in the world. But behind the chart-topping hits and global fame, there were pressures, expectations, and experiences that came with a cost few people recognized at the time. Behind the screaming crowds and non-stop attention was a far more complicated cost that few people anticipated. Over the years, quiet conversations within the industry have suggested that Diddy played a significant role in shaping that transition behind the scenes. Not only as a powerful music executive, but as someone who allegedly understood how to draw young talent into his inner circle. The offers were framed around success, recognition, financial reward, and access to exclusive spaces. For a young artist, that vision could be overwhelming. According to those close to Justin, and to comments Justin himself has made over time, certain off-camera experiences created discomfort and confusion long before the public noticed anything was wrong. From early on, there were rumors that Diddy's involvement went beyond guidance and into control, that he positioned himself as a key decision-maker whose approval mattered. The idea was that success came with expectations, and that progress depended on compliance with unspoken terms. Those terms, according to ongoing discussion, carried consequences that would follow Justin long after his rise to fame.
Was and so impressionable. And you have everybody telling me how awesome I am at all times, and
It's like taking a kid and putting a kid in a room full of nothing but sweets.
Right.
And just saying, I'll be back in 2 days.
Exactly. I just want people to understand, the psychology behind why I potentially could have problems.
According to some accounts, this arrangement meant being introduced to a select circle of older, highly influential individuals who operated quietly but held significant power. They were not simply part of the music business. They were connected to Diddy's private network. Justin entered this environment as a teenager, too young to fully understand the dynamics at play, and too driven by ambition to question what was being asked of him. At first, everything appeared rewarding. There were expensive gifts, luxury travel, and access to an elite lifestyle that looked like the ultimate sign of success. Over time, however, those rewards seemed tied to expectations. The message, as some describe it, was clear. Staying close and compliant meant continued approval and opportunity. Alongside those privileges came increasing pressure, unspoken obligations, enforced loyalty, and intense scrutiny that no young person should have had to manage. And when Justin later attempted to reference his discomfort publicly, those moments were quickly redirected or minimized, reinforcing the sense that certain topics were not meant to be discussed openly.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're
He
out.
got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house. And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not.
Now, consider the power someone like Diddy could wield, not just in public interviews but behind the scenes. Years later, Justin himself has reflected openly on how overwhelming that period of his life was. In interviews and documentaries, he has shared that the constant pressure, the demands, and the adults around him almost derailed him. He has described being a child in a world that often didn't acknowledge his youth, a world where boundaries were blurred, and no one stepped in to protect him. Looking back, Justin has said he was guided into situations that were harmful and confusing. At the time, he didn't know any better. He was simply trying to survive and fit in. When the same adults who are supposed to guide you are also taking advantage of their influence, it can be impossible to recognize what is safe or normal. While rumors about the nature of Diddy's influence on Justin have circulated for years, recent lawsuits and allegations from others in the industry are beginning to shed more light on the environment he experienced. Events that once seemed chaotic now appear to follow a clearer pattern of control and manipulation. Throughout it all, Hailey Bieber has stood by him, witnessing his journey to recover and make sense of the challenges he faced. What Hailey has begun hinting at recently suggests she understands the true cost of fame for Justin. It was never just about music, bright lights, or chart-topping hits. It was about navigating a world that demanded more than he was ready for. A world that tested his resilience and forced him into situations far beyond his years. He achieved the fame he dreamed of, but the toll it took and the forces behind it are only now coming into focus. Those who have spent time around Diddy describe a world that was always intense, secretive, and unpredictable. For young artists just entering the industry, it could be overwhelming. Diddy had a way of attracting talent with promises of visibility and opportunity. But the deeper someone got involved, the more complicated and challenging the environment became. Even before Justin's rise, Usher experienced this firsthand. As a teenager, he attended what was known as Diddy's Flavor Camp, designed to give young artists exposure to the music industry. By Usher's own account, the experience was far from ordinary. He described it as chaotic and overwhelming, with situations that no young person should have had to handle. Years later, reflecting on it, Usher has said he would never send his own child to such a program, a statement that speaks volumes about the environment he encountered. It became clear that something was deeply wrong, and this is the same individual who later introduced a young Justin Bieber to Diddy, the same Diddy who is now facing serious legal scrutiny and allegations. It raises an important question. If Usher had first-hand experience with how chaotic and intense Diddy's world could be, why did he bring Justin into it? Perhaps he believed the situation would be different this time, or assumed things had changed. However, if the earlier Flavor Camp stories are any indication, Diddy had been operating in a high-pressure, intense environment for years, drawing young talent into his orbit, surrounding them with powerful adults, showcasing wealth and luxury, and creating situations that were emotionally and mentally demanding. With everything emerging now, those past moments take on a new perspective. The unusual incidents, awkward interviews, exclusive events, and high-pressure programs were not simply eccentric behavior from a music executive. They were warning signs. Justin Bieber entered that environment as a teenager, much like Usher did years before him. Only this time, the stakes and potential consequences may have been even greater, leaving lasting psychological effects and challenges that took years to navigate. Years of emotional strain and silence followed. Now, as Hailey Bieber begins speaking out, it is becoming clear that Justin faced challenges few could have anticipated. He was introduced to someone who already had a reputation for creating high-pressure, chaotic environments behind the scenes. And the very people who might have recognized the risks, those who had experienced it themselves, were the ones who facilitated his entry. Usher has openly said he would never expose his own child to such a world. Yet Justin was sent into it, and the consequences of that decision continue to unfold today. This is no longer just about Hailey Bieber, Usher, or quiet industry rumors. More voices are stepping forward, each adding clarity to the story of what Justin faced in his formative years. What once seemed like scattered gossip is now taking shape as a recognizable pattern of manipulation, intense pressure, and enforced silence. Some of the most revealing accounts are coming from individuals who were inside the industry, witnessing firsthand how young talent was guided, and sometimes pushed through a world they were too young to navigate safely. Some of the most revealing accounts are coming from people who witnessed the inner workings of the industry firsthand. In a widely viewed YouTube interview, former mob associate Michael Furnessy spoke with Suge Knight, figures known for their deep knowledge of both the entertainment world and its high-stakes power dynamics. These are not gossip columnists or casual commentators. They have seen how influence and control operate behind closed doors. During the conversation, Suge Knight shared observations about Diddy's early interactions with Justin Bieber that raised serious concerns. He suggested that from the very start, Diddy's involvement with Justin went beyond typical mentorship. At the time, Justin was a young teenager, new to the industry, and full of excitement and trust. According to Suge, what was happening behind the scenes was troubling and created an environment that was intense, confusing, and difficult for someone so young to navigate. Coming from Suge Knight, a man who has witnessed some of the most ruthless aspects of both the streets and the music business, these statements carry significant weight. His perspective adds another layer to the growing picture of the challenges Justin faced in the early stages of his career. Suge Knight knows the inner workings of the industry, the codes, the secrets, and the games that go on behind closed doors. When someone with his experience chooses to speak out, it carries serious weight. But he is not the only one raising concerns. Another former insider, Gone Deal, who served as Diddy's personal bodyguard for years, has shared similar warnings. Gone Deal was not observing from the outside. He was right alongside Diddy during some of the most powerful years of his career. He attended the events, witnessed the parties, and saw the people coming and going. In multiple interviews, Deal has described the high-pressure, chaotic atmosphere that surrounded Diddy and the challenges it created for those in his orbit. When it comes to Justin Bieber, Deal has stated clearly that he believes the young star faced extremely difficult circumstances behind the scenes. He has described the situation as harmful and troubling for someone so young. He also shared that there were moments he felt powerless, times when he knew something wasn't right, but the influence and control Diddy wielded made it almost impossible for anyone to intervene. Many stayed quiet, fearing the consequences of speaking out, and in the meantime, Justin was left navigating an environment no teenager should have had to endure.
Usher, I wish somebody would come out and just like sue him. Like, we need Usher. No, we do. We need a victim to come out and be honest about him, because what I'm realizing is that he's going to fake the funk into the victim, man. He's just going to keep on sucking the devil's. And I don't know, like with a baby, that pacifier, sometimes you got to pull it out. You know what I'm saying? And take it away. Right? When the baby's used to sucking on the pacifier. That motherfucker sucking on, do what? So you take it out the mouth. Now it's going to scream and holler. But eventually it will get used to the fact that his mouth is no longer full with that object. And that it's time to just, learn how to live without it. He been sucking on Diddy one time. It's time for him to learn how to make this thing happen without the devil's mouth or ass. Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there. Oh. Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. that situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the dealer. Does that sound like a...
These are not isolated stories. They are part of a much larger troubling pattern. A pattern in which young artists were promised opportunity and success, only to find themselves navigating environments far more intense and demanding than they were prepared for. A world where fame came with hidden costs, and where the adults who should have acted as mentors and protectors instead became gatekeepers to situations no child should have faced. Hailey Bieber understands this story better than almost anyone. While she may not name names outright, her recent interviews, statements, and the way she discusses Justin's past make it clear that she has witnessed and heard things that continue to affect her. She has hinted at the emotional toll, alluded to uncomfortable truths, and now the voices of those around her are beginning to confirm what she has long carried in silence. There is a recognizable pattern. Diddy has a history of getting close to young rising stars, offering them access to opportunities and experiences most people only dream of. But along with those privileges comes a lifestyle that is far from simple or glamorous. It is one filled with secrecy, high-pressure situations, exclusive events, blurred professional boundaries, and a level of control that can leave young artists overwhelmed, confused, and struggling to navigate their path safely. Justin Bieber was not the first young artist to face intense pressures, and unfortunately, he may not be the last. What makes his story stand out, however, is that people are finally beginning to speak up. The walls of silence are slowly breaking. Former insiders are sharing their experiences, and with each new account, the carefully guarded secrets of the industry are starting to come to light. What happened to Justin is more than just a chapter in a celebrity biography. It serves as a warning, a call to look closer, ask tougher questions, and pay attention when those closest to the challenges finally begin to share their perspective. When voices like Suge Knight, Gone Deal, Hailey Bieber, and others all point to the same patterns, it moves beyond speculation and toward a clearer understanding of reality. Hailey Bieber has been observing this story for a long time, longer than most realize. Even before she and Justin became a couple, their lives intersected quietly within the same Hollywood circles. They shared friends, attended similar events, and moved in overlapping social environments. From early on, Hailey noticed there was something different about Justin. Something heavy, something unsettled. At that time, they were not close. She was just another young person on the periphery, watching the chaos unfold around him. Even from a distance, Hailey could sense the pressure surrounding the rising pop star. She noticed the constant attention, the intense scrutiny, and the unusual access that certain adults seemed to have to him. She saw the headlines and heard the rumors. While she didn't know the full story, she instinctively felt that something was off. As their relationship grew more serious, the polished public image began to fade. When Hailey became Justin's girlfriend, and later his wife, she stepped fully into his world, and with it, into the heart of his struggles. She came to understand that the concerns she had sensed from afar were not only real but far worse than she had imagined. She witnessed how Justin carried himself behind closed doors. The periods of withdrawal, the emotional shutdowns, and the ways he struggled to cope with pressures that most people could never see. Hailey began to notice how certain names and memories would trigger intense reactions in Justin that he couldn't fully explain. Even casual mentions of Diddy seemed to affect him. And when lawsuits and allegations against Diddy began appearing in the news, Hailey witnessed the impact firsthand. Justin didn't respond like someone reading the headlines. He responded as if he were reliving the experiences themselves. The confusion, the frustration, and the sense of having been taken advantage of all came flooding back. Hailey was there through it all. She saw the man she loved struggle with emotional turbulence, as past experiences resurfaced and intertwined with the public stories he had kept private for years. The resurgence of these memories brought with it a wave of challenges. struggles with substance use, panic, and mental health setbacks. Moments where he could barely put into words what was wrong, only that he felt overwhelmed, triggered, and hollowed out.
Go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call.
Hailey became Justin's anchor during those turbulent moments. She couldn't turn away from what she now understood. She began connecting the dots, recognizing what he had been exposed to as a teenager, understanding who had influenced his life, and witnessing how those experiences shaped him. As the story began to unfold publicly, she saw just how deep the impact truly was. While she has never detailed everything directly, her actions speak volumes. The way she protects him, the careful manner in which she discusses his past, and the support she offers when he struggles all reveal her understanding. She first noticed the warning signs from afar, then experienced the reality up close as his partner. Now, as the world begins to piece together the story, Hailey carries that truth with him, offering context and insight that no outsider could provide. Her quiet observations and protective presence highlight why her perspective is so important.